Have you ever been told that if you want to control your blood sugar, you have to stop eating bread, rice, potatoes, or fruit? Maybe you've even tried cutting out carbohydrates completely, only to find yourself constantly craving food, feeling tired, and eventually giving up because it simply wasn't sustainable. The truth may surprise you. For many people, controlling blood sugar isn't about eliminating carbohydrates. It's about understanding how your body processes them and choosing foods that help your body handle glucose more efficiently. In fact, some of the most powerful foods for improving blood sugar control actually work by supporting your body's natural insulin response, rather than by removing carbohydrates altogether. Over the years, one pattern has become clear. Many people who struggle with high blood sugar believe they have to eat less and less. They remove food after food until every meal feels like a punishment. Yet their blood sugar often remains higher than expected. Why? Because the real problem usually isn't carbohydrates themselves. The real issue is how your body responds to those carbohydrates. Today, we're going to explore 10 foods that research suggests may support healthy blood sugar levels by improving insulin sensitivity, slowing glucose absorption, reducing inflammation, and helping your body's own systems work more efficiently. These foods are not miracle cures, and they are not replacements for medical care or prescribed medications. But when combined with a balanced lifestyle and guidance from your healthcare provider, they can become powerful tools in your journey toward better metabolic health. If you enjoy learning the science behind your body and want practical health advice you can actually use every day, consider subscribing and let me know your fasting blood sugar in the comments below. It's always fascinating to see what topics matter most to this community, and your questions often inspire future videos. Now, let's begin by understanding what is really happening inside your body. Most people think high blood sugar begins when they eat too much sugar. In reality, that's only part of the story. The bigger issue is a hormone called insulin. Think of insulin as a key. Every time you eat carbohydrates, your digestive system breaks them down into glucose. That glucose enters your bloodstream, where it waits to be used as energy. But glucose cannot enter most cells on its own. It needs insulin. Insulin unlocks tiny doors on the surface of your cells, allowing glucose to move from your bloodstream into your muscles, liver, and other tissues where it can be burned for energy or stored for later use. When this system works properly, your blood sugar rises gently after a meal and then returns to normal. But after years of excess calories, inactivity, poor sleep, chronic stress, or genetic predisposition, those cellular doors begin responding less effectively. The insulin key still fits. The lock simply becomes rusty. Your pancreas notices that glucose isn't entering the cells efficiently, so it produces even more insulin. For a while, this extra insulin keeps blood sugar under control. But eventually, the pancreas can't keep up. Blood sugar begins climbing. This condition is called insulin resistance. Understanding insulin resistance changes everything because it shifts the goal. Instead of asking, "How can I avoid carbohydrates forever?" a much better question becomes, "How can I help my cells respond to insulin more effectively?" That is exactly where food becomes incredibly powerful. Certain foods slow digestion. Others reduce inflammation. Some provide fiber that feeds beneficial gut bacteria. Others contain plant compounds that appear to improve insulin sensitivity. None of them work overnight. But together, meal after meal, day after day, they help create an environment where your metabolism functions much more efficiently. The best part? Most of these foods are inexpensive, widely available, and easy to include in meals you already enjoy. Let's begin with one that has been used in traditional cooking for centuries, but is only recently receiving more attention from researchers. Food number 1, fenugreek seeds. Fenugreek seeds may look small, but inside these tiny golden seeds is an impressive combination of soluble fiber and natural plant compounds. One of their biggest advantages comes from a special type of soluble fiber called galactomannan. When soaked in water, these seeds absorb liquid and develop a gel-like texture. Inside your digestive system, that gel slows how quickly food leaves your stomach. Why does that matter? Imagine pouring water into a funnel. If you dump it all at once, everything rushes through. But if you pour slowly, the flow becomes much steadier. Your digestive system works in a similar way. When carbohydrates leave the stomach more slowly, glucose enters the bloodstream gradually instead of creating a rapid spike. This means your pancreas doesn't need to release such a large burst of insulin all at once. Several studies have also suggested that compounds naturally present in fenugreek may support insulin function and glucose metabolism, although more research is still being conducted to understand the full extent of these effects. Adding fenugreek to your routine is surprisingly simple. Soak about 1 teaspoon of whole seeds overnight in a glass of water. The next morning, drink the water and chew the softened seeds before breakfast, if you enjoy the flavor. If the taste is too bitter, grinding a small amount into yogurt, oatmeal, or smoothies can make it much easier to enjoy. Because fenugreek is rich in fiber, it's best to start with small amounts and drink plenty of water while your digestive system adjusts. One food alone won't transform your blood sugar. But remember something important. Blood sugar control isn't about finding one miracle ingredient. It's about building small daily habits that work together. And the next food on our list is probably already sitting in your kitchen. Food number 2, Ceylon cinnamon. Let's continue with a spice that millions of people already have in their kitchen, but very few are using it in a way that could support healthier blood sugar levels. Cinnamon has been valued for centuries, not only for its warm flavor, but also for its potential health benefits. However, there's one important detail that many people don't know. Not all cinnamon is the same. The most common variety sold in supermarkets is cassia cinnamon. While it's perfectly fine for occasional cooking, it contains higher amounts of a natural compound called coumarin. In large amounts over long periods, coumarin may affect liver health in some people. For regular daily use, many experts recommend Ceylon cinnamon, often called true cinnamon. It has a milder flavor and much lower levels of coumarin. But what makes cinnamon interesting for blood sugar? Researchers believe cinnamon contains natural plant compounds called polyphenols. These compounds appear to improve how the body responds to insulin. Some studies suggest they may help insulin work more effectively by supporting insulin signaling inside cells. Other research indicates cinnamon may slightly slow stomach emptying, helping glucose enter the bloodstream more gradually after meals. This doesn't mean cinnamon is a treatment for diabetes. It won't erase the effects of an unhealthy diet or replace medication. But when combined with balanced meals and regular physical activity, it can be one more helpful piece of the puzzle. One simple way to use it is by adding about 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon to oatmeal, plain yogurt, smoothies, or even coffee. Pairing it with carbohydrate-containing meals may help support steadier blood sugar after eating. Sometimes the smallest daily habits produce the biggest long-term results. Now let's move to one of the most underrated foods on this entire list. Food number 3, broccoli sprouts. Most people have eaten broccoli. Very few have eaten broccoli sprouts. And that's unfortunate, because these tiny 3 to 5 day old sprouts contain remarkably high concentrations of sulforaphane, a natural plant compound that has attracted significant scientific interest. In fact, broccoli sprouts can contain many times more sulforaphane precursors than mature broccoli. Why is this important? Your liver acts like your body's energy warehouse. Even while you're sleeping, your liver releases glucose into the bloodstream to make sure your brain and other organs have a steady supply of fuel. Normally, this process is carefully controlled. But in insulin resistance, the liver can release more glucose than necessary. That's one reason many people wake up with unexpectedly high fasting blood sugar, even if they haven't eaten since dinner. Research suggests sulforaphane may help regulate some of these metabolic pathways in the liver. Scientists continue to study its effects, but early findings have been encouraging, particularly in people with type 2 diabetes. Another advantage of broccoli sprouts is that they are rich in antioxidants. Chronic inflammation and oxidative stress are closely linked to insulin resistance. Over time, these processes can interfere with how cells respond to insulin. Foods naturally rich in antioxidants may help reduce some of that stress. The easiest way to eat broccoli sprouts is raw. Add a handful to sandwiches, wraps, salads, or grain bowls. Avoid cooking them at very high temperatures because excessive heat can reduce sulforaphane formation. You can even grow broccoli sprouts at home in just a few days using inexpensive seeds and a glass jar. Sometimes the healthiest foods are also among the least expensive. Now let's talk about a food that many people avoid because they're worried about calories. Food number 4. Avocados. For years, dietary fat was blamed for almost every health problem imaginable. As a result, many people started avoiding foods like avocados, believing they were simply too high in calories. But modern nutrition research tells a much more balanced story. Avocados are rich in monounsaturated fats, the same heart-healthy fats found in olive oil. These healthy fats slow digestion, which means carbohydrates are absorbed more gradually. Think about eating plain white bread by itself. Your blood sugar rises quickly. Now imagine eating that same bread alongside avocado, vegetables, and a source of lean protein. The digestion process becomes slower. Glucose enters the bloodstream more gradually. Your body has more time to respond. This often results in a smoother rise in blood sugar instead of a sharp spike followed by a rapid crash. Avocados are also packed with dietary fiber. Fiber is one of the most important nutrients for blood sugar control because humans cannot digest it. Instead, fiber slows carbohydrate absorption, improves fullness, and supports beneficial bacteria living inside your gut. Those gut bacteria produce compounds that may influence inflammation, insulin sensitivity, and overall metabolic health. In other words, the benefits of fiber extend well beyond digestion. A practical serving is about half of a medium avocado each day. Spread it on whole grain toast, slice it into salads, add it to sandwiches, or enjoy it alongside eggs at breakfast. Not only does it improve nutrition, but it also makes meals far more satisfying, reducing the temptation to snack on highly processed foods later in the day. That brings us to another tiny food with surprisingly powerful nutritional benefits. Food number 5. Chia seeds. If you've ever mixed chia seeds into water or yogurt, you've probably noticed something unusual. Within minutes, they begin forming a thick gel. That same process happens inside your digestive system. This gel slows the movement of food through your stomach and intestines, allowing glucose to enter the bloodstream gradually instead of all at once. That slower release often means fewer dramatic blood sugar spikes after meals. Chia seeds are also exceptionally rich in fiber. Just 2 tablespoons provide around 10 grams of fiber, helping many people move closer to their recommended daily intake. But that's not all. Chia seeds also provide plant-based omega-3 fats, protein, calcium, magnesium, and several important minerals involved in glucose metabolism. One of the biggest challenges people face with blood sugar management is hunger. After eating refined carbohydrates alone, blood sugar often rises rapidly and then falls quickly, leaving you hungry again within a short time. Chia seeds help slow that entire process. The result? Many people feel satisfied for longer, making it easier to avoid unnecessary snacking. They're incredibly easy to use. Mix 1 or 2 tablespoons into plain yogurt, blend them into smoothies, stir them into overnight oats, or prepare chia pudding using unsweetened milk and fresh berries. Just remember to allow the seeds time to absorb liquid before eating them, and drink enough water throughout the day, since fiber works best when properly hydrated. At this point, you've already seen an important pattern. None of these foods magically cure high blood sugar. Instead, each one supports your body's natural systems in a slightly different way. Some slow digestion, some improve fullness, some provide antioxidants, others may help improve insulin sensitivity. Individually, their effects are modest. Together, however, they create a dietary pattern that supports healthier blood sugar control over time. And the next 5 foods may be even more surprising, because they include options that many people already enjoy every week without realizing how beneficial they can be. Food number 6, fatty fish. Now let's move from fiber-rich foods to one of the best natural sources of healthy fats. If there is one food that benefits not only your blood sugar, but also your heart, brain, and blood vessels, it's fatty fish. When most people think about diabetes, they focus only on sugar. But there's another process happening beneath the surface that deserves just as much attention: chronic inflammation. Low-grade inflammation develops slowly over many years. It's linked with obesity, physical inactivity, poor sleep, smoking, chronic stress, and diets high in ultra-processed foods. This inflammation can interfere with insulin signaling, making it harder for your body's cells to respond effectively to insulin. Fatty fish, such as salmon, sardines, mackerel, trout, and herring, are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, known as EPA and DHA. These healthy fats have been studied extensively for their anti-inflammatory effects and their ability to support cardiovascular health. While omega-3s don't directly lower blood sugar like a medication, they may help improve the overall metabolic environment in which insulin works. They also support healthy triglyceride levels, blood vessel function, and heart health, especially important because people with diabetes have a higher risk of cardiovascular disease. Another advantage is that fatty fish is naturally high in protein. Protein slows digestion, helps maintain muscle mass, and promotes fullness after meals. This means you're less likely to reach for sugary snacks later in the day. Aim for 2 servings of fatty fish each week. A serving is roughly the size of the palm of your hand. Fresh fish is excellent, but don't overlook canned salmon or sardines. They're affordable, convenient, and packed with nutrients. Simply grill, bake, steam, or lightly pan-sear your fish instead of deep frying it. Small changes in cooking methods can make a significant difference over time. Food number 7, walnuts. When people hear the word nuts, many immediately think of calories. What they often forget is that calories tell only part of the story. Walnuts are among the most nutrient-dense foods you can eat. They provide healthy fats, plant protein, fiber, magnesium, antioxidants, and a plant-based omega-3 fat called alpha-linolenic acid. Together, these nutrients help slow digestion and promote steady energy levels. Imagine you're hungry in the afternoon. You have 2 choices. One is a bag of potato chips. The other is a small handful of walnuts. The chips are digested quickly, causing your blood sugar to rise and then fall, often leaving you hungry again shortly afterward. Walnuts digest much more slowly. Their combination of healthy fats, fiber, and protein helps create a gradual release of energy that keeps you feeling satisfied much longer. Research has also linked regular nut consumption with improved heart health and better overall diet quality. Since cardiovascular disease remains one of the leading complications associated with diabetes, choosing heart-healthy snacks is an important part of long-term health. Keep your portion moderate, about 1 small handful or roughly 1/4 cup each day. Choose raw or dry roasted walnuts whenever possible. Avoid sugar-coated or heavily salted varieties that can add unnecessary calories and sodium. A handful of walnuts with a piece of fresh fruit makes an excellent afternoon snack that satisfies both hunger and nutrition. Eggs have probably experienced one of the biggest reputation changes in nutrition history. For years, people avoided eggs because they worried about cholesterol. Today, researchers recognize that for most healthy individuals, moderate egg consumption can be part of a balanced diet. But why are eggs so helpful for blood sugar? The answer is simple. Eggs contain high-quality protein with very little carbohydrate. That means they have minimal immediate impact on blood glucose. Starting your morning with a protein-rich breakfast can help stabilize hunger hormones throughout the day. Many people who eat sugary cereals or pastries at breakfast notice they're hungry again within just a couple of hours. That's because refined carbohydrates digest quickly. Eggs provide lasting fullness. This can reduce cravings, decrease unnecessary snacking, and make healthier food choices easier later in the day. Eggs are also rich in nutrients like choline, vitamin B12, selenium, and vitamin D, all of which support overall health. Try pairing eggs with vegetables such as spinach, tomatoes, mushrooms, or bell peppers. Add sliced avocado and whole grain toast for a balanced breakfast containing protein, healthy fats, fiber, and complex carbohydrates. The goal isn't to fear carbohydrates, it's to combine them wisely. A balanced plate works much better than eating refined carbohydrates by themselves. Fruit number 9, apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar has become incredibly popular on social media. But separating fact from fiction is important. It isn't a miracle drink. It won't reverse diabetes overnight. However, research suggests it may modestly reduce the rise in blood sugar after carbohydrate-rich meals for some people. Scientists believe acetic acid, the active component in vinegar, may slow stomach emptying and improve how muscles use glucose after eating. If you choose to try it, always dilute 1 tablespoon in a full glass of water. Never drink vinegar straight. Its acidity can damage tooth enamel and irritate the throat. It may also interact with certain medications, especially insulin or medicines that lower blood sugar. If you're taking diabetes medication, consult your healthcare provider before making it part of your routine. Remember, apple cider vinegar works best as part of an overall healthy eating pattern, not as a substitute for one. Food number 10. Lentils. Finally, let's talk about one of the most affordable and powerful foods for blood sugar management: lentils. Many people are surprised to see lentils on this list because they contain carbohydrates. But here's the important lesson. Not all carbohydrates behave the same way inside your body. Lentils are rich in resistant starch, plant protein, and soluble fiber. Together, these nutrients slow digestion and create a much gentler rise in blood glucose compared with refined carbohydrates like white bread or sugary cereals. They're also incredibly filling. A bowl of lentil soup often keeps people satisfied far longer than a meal based mainly on refined grains. Lentils provide iron, folate, potassium, magnesium, and numerous antioxidants that support overall metabolic health. Try replacing white rice with lentils once or twice each week. Add them to soups, salads, curries, or stews. You can even mix lentils with brown rice to gradually increase fiber without dramatically changing the taste of your meals. The beauty of lentils is that they're inexpensive, easy to prepare, and widely available almost everywhere in the world. Now that you've seen all 10 foods, you may notice something remarkable. None of them require expensive supplements. None of them demand extreme diets. None of them ask you to eliminate every carbohydrate from your life. Instead, they work together by supporting your body's natural ability to regulate blood sugar. In the next section, we'll bring all of these foods together into a simple daily eating plan, share an inspiring real-life success story, discuss important safety considerations, and give you 5 practical steps you can start using as early as tomorrow morning.